Good morning. Hi, I'm Connie. Welcome to Connie's Community. Today we're going to talk a little bit about reacting. Um, Excuse me, I haven't had my caffeine intake yet. So I'm going to read from Each Day a New Beginning, and it talks about reaction isn't action. That is, it isn't truly creative. So when someone yells at you or someone's mad at you or whatever, and you react to that, that's just a gut reaction. It's not really, thinking it through or anything. So let's read this. We must learn how to act rather than react. Unfortunately, we've had lots of training at reacting, and we're all such good imitators. We are a society of reactors. We let the good and the bad behavior of another person determine how our behavior becomes as a matter of course. But the opportunities are unlimited for us to responsibly choose our behavior independent of all others in our life. Change is ours if we want it. A scowl from a spouse need not make us feel rejected. Criticism at work doesn't have to ruin our day. An inconsiderate bus driver might still be politely thanked. And when we decide for ourselves just how we want to act and follow through, our self esteem soars. If we are put down, it may momentarily create self doubt, but when we quickly reassure ourselves that all is well and respond with respect, we grow. A sense of well being rushes through our body. Being in command of our own feelings and our own actions prevents that free floating anxiety from grasping us, and we are who we choose to be, and new adventures await us. The opportunity to react will be many today, but each time I can pause, determine the action I feel better about, and take it. My emotional health gets a booster shot each time I make a responsible choice. So, a lot of people have, I'm sorry, I keep coughing, heard this story before, but I learned it back in school. Um, Actually, from a man named Ron Gilbert, who I'm sure is 100 million people's teachers that would listen to my channel. So he was a teacher here at the junior college in human services. And I believe it was him who said this to me. I could be wrong, or to our class. He talked about walking down the street and there are people up in a window and they're calling you all kinds of profanities and blank you and you're a blank and be quiet you blank blank and all this stuff, and you're getting really angry and offended and you want to say you want to react, you want to say all these kinds of things, but you choose not to at the moment and you keep walking. And when you go around the corner and these people are still behind you going yakety yakety yak from a window, you go around the corner and you see the sign that says it's a mental health institute. And then you go, oh, okay, so it has nothing to do with me. They're just responding to whatever internal stimuli or whatever's going on. They're bored, whatever. Um, so, in most instances, oh my goodness, I can't talk this morning. In most cases, um, especially if you haven't even been around for a minute and you walk into something and someone reacts to you in a negative manner, it really isn't about you. It's about them. You don't know what they're going through at the time. You don't know what the existing factors are in that case. And you don't have to get all upset. You can say, oh, I'm sorry. You're having a bad day. What's going on? Do you want to talk? And I have to use this in work daily because I work with people who are responding to internal stimuli and the higher level that they climb in their anxiety and reacting and physical stuff or whatever, the calmer I get and the more quietly I talk, and pretty soon they're like, huh, what are you saying? And it kind of all calms down uh, for the most part. in my line of work. So we don't have to react most of the time. Like I said, it's not about us. And it is so important to have control over this thing called our mouth. So I have learned I am so much better than I used to be, but sometimes I lose it like everybody else. And it's, one of the hardest things we can learn to control. Um, I think I still have a problem with the whole facial expression. Like, my face just doesn't lie when something shocks me, which it takes a lot to shock me. But I feel like, I have certain things and certain boundaries and certain levels where I'm not going to put up with certain things. But for the most part, everything else, like, is it really going to matter down the road? Anyhow, so that's, learn to control your emotional reactions and instead think about how you want to act in these situations and start becoming that person. Um, then we can become better human beings, and we can also show other people, how to be better human beings by doing that. I want to talk about addiction a little bit. There's a big, stigma out there. Oh, they're just drug addicts or whatever. People like to say stuff like that. Oh, look at that bum, whatever. And it's not okay to say any of those things, but it still goes on constantly. Um, Addiction can be anything mood or mind altering, anything that affects your social life, your family life, your job, your um, your interests that you used to be interested in. Now it's taken over by whatever. So addiction isn't just about drugs or alcohol. Addiction isn't just about overeating. It's Netflix, Facebook, gaming. um, our kids these days are addicted to gaming. I mean, completely addicted to gaming, and it interferes with their school, their homework, their sleep, their social interactions on, being outside and all of that. Our most of us grown-ups are addicted to our phones and to Facebook and to Netflix. Me, I'd love to find a new series and just, binge watch seasons. And anything is okay as long as it's not interfering in everything else. So moderation is the key. I'm not saying drugs and alcohol, okay? If you're an addict, and those things are unsafe. Our younger kids are getting smarter. They have this sober driver. And so when they all go out to go partying or whatever, one person stays sober and they drive home, or they know they can call an Uber and get home for $10 or whatever. So, I mean, our younger kids are growing up with these things as just the way they are. And then there is harm reduction in all of that, which would be Uber, the sober driver, um, condoms during sex, whether or not you're on birth control, so that you don't get STDs or AIDS. Those things are all harm reduction. And I'm glad that our younger kids are just um, really inundated with these things to learn, how to keep themselves safe. But I just wanted to touch briefly on, when you talk about this person or that person, and, oh, they shouldn't be doing this and they shouldn't be doing that, maybe you should take a look at yourself and see, why are you so judgmental about that? Do you have issues you need to work on because of what happened in your family? I think everybody should go to counseling. Um, or take a look at your own behaviors. What are your addictions? Sex. Um, are you uh, like to just lay around and not do anything? If you don't have a mental health um, issue, or you may have and not even know it. You shouldn't want to always be in bed and always want to, just kind of isolate and be alone. It's okay if you're not a social butterfly. I'm not talking about our different personalities. I'm talking about, maybe you're staying at home and being alone and actually wanting to go do something, but you just don't, you're addicted to the show. So you turn down an invitation to go to whatever, or you're whatever. So addiction comes in many different forms. My dad used to relate to my addiction to drugs as ice cream. If there was ice cream in the refrigerator, he was going to eat it till it was gone. And he knew he was going to do that, and it was bad for him, and he didn't need it, but he did it anyway. And so he identified and you know um, to my addiction in that way. Um, for some people it's working, or making an almighty buck, or some of us have to work a lot because we don't get paid enough, so we have to still pay the bills and we have to, do these things. But there's a difference if you already have enough, plenty, and you're still working, 20 out of 24 hours in a day. You might take a look at that. Why are you unhappy at home? Are you, take a look, at why you're doing these things. So today is Friday. I'm very, oh, I still have to work tomorrow. I actually do CPI training. I'm certified CPI trainer, and that is crisis prevention intervention, CPI is. And so I get to teach our new hires where I work how to keep themselves safe, how to de escalate the patient. Sorry, the patients where I work, and how to do non-violent uh, restraining, if someone's out of control. It's very, we try to do things that are very calm, and it doesn't always, happen that way. But with the more skills that you learn, the better outcomes we have for both the patient, because that's the number one thing, and outcomes for staff as well. Less people, nobody gets hurt, nobody gets traumatized by our events. And um, so that's what CPI is, just in case you wondered. So it's Friday. I hope all of you have a great weekend. I intend to do some shows over the weekend. We will see if my granddaughter will let me have any airtime or not. And it's been a pleasure. I hope you had a great week, and I hope you have a better weekend. Get outside, breathe some air. If it's raining, dance in the rain. Grab your partner and bend them over and kiss them in the rain, and be silly. Let's just all be silly, because silly is fun and it's full of life. Have a good day. This is me, Connie. Talk to you later. Um, Please hit the like button if you would. I would appreciate it. Thank you so much. Bye.